Long hours and overwork probably cause hundreds of thousands of deaths a year worldwide, and the problem is getting worse, according to a new study from the World Health Organization, WHO. In 2016, researchers estimate that around 745,000 people worldwide died from stroke and ischemic heart disease related to working more than 55 hours per week, a 29% increase from the same figure in 2000. Compared to working 35 to 40 hours per week, working 55 hours per week or more increases the risk of stroke by 35% and the risk of dying from ischemic heart disease by 17%, the researchers conclude. Working 55 hours or more a week is a serious health hazard, says Maria Neira, director of the WHO Department of Environment, Climate Change and Health. It is time for all of us, governments, employers and employees to understand that long hours at work can lead to premature death. WHO has partnered with the International Labour Organization, ILO, to analyze dozens of studies of ischemic heart disease and stroke, analyzing data spanning 194 different countries. Although the statistics do not show a precise causal association, they provide sufficient evidence of harm using the WHO criteria. Occupational illnesses and mortality were particularly prevalent among men, those aged 60 to 74, and people living in the Western Pacific and Southeast Asia regions, the data showed. About 8.9% of the world's population worked an average of 55 hours per week or more in 2016, or about 488 million people in total. The data from this study only goes up to 2016, but it is unlikely that the situation has improved since then. The rise of the odd job economy and the shift to working from home due to the spread of the coronavirus means many of us are on time longer than ever before. The COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically changed the way many people work, says WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Telecommuting has become the norm in many industries, often blurring the lines between home and work. Plus, many businesses have been forced to downsize or shut down to save money, and people who are still paid end up working longer. While the link between working too many hours and poor health comes as no surprise and has already been the subject of numerous studies, the new research is taking it to another level in terms of overall analysis and the sheer volume of data that have been taken into account. The obvious solution, if you find yourself overworked, is to work less and spend more time with family or at your leisure. However, for many people around the world, this isn't necessarily an inexpensive choice they can make. With this in mind, WHO encourages governments and employers to heed the caveats in this study, setting rules on flexible working times and hours, and allowing workers to share work could help reduce this burden. Disease. No job is worth the risk of stroke or heart disease, says Tedros. Governments, employers and workers must work together to agree on limits to protect workers' health.